Okay, guys, so today we are going to shed some light on the topic why labels do not respond to your emails and what you should do about it. Let's take things from the beginning. There are several possible ways to contact a record label. You can send a message on Facebook, a message on Instagram, a message to SoundCloud, or send an email. The most appropriate way to contact a label is to send an email using the email address of the A&R and not the email address for other inquiries like info@ghostlabel.gr. If the label is open to new submissions, they have some sort of applicable email for receiving demos, such as demos@ghostlabel.gr. You must use this email because your song needs to be heard by the person responsible for the catalog, which is the A&R. You don't want your message to be received by social media managers or the label owner, who most probably won't even bother listening and won't even bother forward the message to the responsible person. If the website of the label has some kind of form that you have to fill in for sending a demo, then you should use this form instead of all other ways. Now let's assume you are a producer and you are trying to enter the label of your choice. Avoid making the same mistake that most people do. As a A&R, I receive many emails and messages that are formulated wrongly. Those messages provoke you to ignore them. So let me tell you some tips, which are not even tips, it is common sense. So the most horrible mistake is this. I receive many messages that contain nothing but a link. The person sending just a link is doing this because he's afraid of the rejection, and thus he doesn't want to put much effort on sending an appropriate email as a safety measure. He doesn't want to be disgraced by a rejection, and thus he just sent a link acting like he's doing the least he can. In that way he feels protected, because if he sends a proper email introducing himself and then gets ignored, it will feel much worse. If you ever send a single link to a label, you are out of your fucking mind. Another common incident is that the link is broken and doesn't work. The A&R might see your message after 1 or 2 months. Make sure that the demo you send is up there months after you send it. So when you write an email, introduce yourself. Say something like, "Hi, my name is Angelos Mavros and I come from Athens, Greece. And I make psytrance for the past 20 years. I use FL Studio. I have a big respect for your label and I want to be part of it. Also say something personalized, like I particularly like this track from this artist of yours. By sending a personalized message, you eliminate the chances of being considered as a spammer, like someone sending the same message to many people, massively. You could say more things about yourself, like I've had several gigs in the past, throw there some links, and now I believe it's time for me to turn my hobby into a profession. And thus, I am sending you my very best production. Now it is extremely important that you include indeed your very best production. Because most of the time, what you think is good is not qualified. So now that you wrote a proper email, what is the possible outcome? There are three scenarios. The best scenario is that the label is interested and will release your track. In that case, you probably know what to do since you managed to go that far. The second possible outcome is when a label answers but is not interested in your music. They thank you but reject you with the most common excuse that your music doesn't fit their current repertorium or style. And the third possibility is when the label does not respond to you at all. Now let's assume that you have written a decent email and you attached your very best demo, but you didn't get a reply. What you do now? Now watch closely. When a label does not respond to your emails, you lock yourself up in a room and you make better music. You don't send another email, assuming that you already sent a few emails to different labels and none of them responded. No, you don't send another email. You lock yourself in a room and try to become a better producer. There is of course the possibility to register on DistroKid and release your music by yourself. In that way no one will listen or buy, guarantee. And here comes the bad news. When a label does not respond, not only it's not interested in your music, but it doesn't see any future in you. They do not believe that you will ever make it in the music industry. They do not believe that you will ever manage to turn your hobby into a profession. And the worst part is that they are right. You won't make it. Those people know more than you because they are professionals. They receive demos every day. They have seen amazing releases going nowhere. They have seen amazing productions flushed down the toilet. They have witnessed much better producers than you failing. They know better than you what it takes to succeed in the music industry. And by not answering to you, they are actually making you a favor. So what do you do when the label does not respond? You simply get the message and try to become a better producer. You don't send another email. You don't try to send your music to other labels. You lock yourself in a room and you improve your music. There is nothing else you can do. And when I say you improve your music, I don't mean you work on a new track, which you believe is better than the one you sent. No. You wait for at least 1 year. You produce at least 10 tracks before you send something new. Now, you might think that by not answering to you, they are being rude or unpolite, or they can't see the genius of your productions. But the truth is that by not answering, they are making you a favor, because they are discouraging you from applying for a job that they think is inappropriate for you. The professionals think that this occupation, this job, is inappropriate for you. And 99% of the cases, they are right. And they discourage you by not saying anything. And yet, they say so much with their silence. Because silence is an answer. When you don't reply to someone, you imply, I'm not interested. If they answered, they would have encouraged you, and then you would keep making music, but chances are that you are not going to make it. When labels do not respond, they are helping you find another job. Do something else with your life. They are helping you find your own way. And that is for your own benefit. Don't let your ego think, no, I want to be a world-class producer, I want to travel the world. How can you be something you are not good at? Why you don't have the same impression for football? How you apprehend that you can't be the next Messi? Why in that case you know that you haven't got what it takes to become the next Messi? And most importantly, why that doesn't bother you? I'll tell you why. Because you think you love music. You have the impression that music is your thing, but that is just an illusion. Everybody does artistic work at some point in his life, and in most cases, the artistic work will be either singing, dancing, or making music. There are a million guys having music as a hobby, but the music industry can support only very few. You might think that you have what it takes, but only time will tell. Not me and no one else. Time is the ultimate judge. One of the common teachings of our time is hard work pays off. That statement is inaccurate. Hard work pays off when you have what it takes. Hard work pays off a professional who showed signs of talent since his early stages. Messi did not become Messi after being a loser. Yes, he worked hard, but he showed signs of effectiveness since a very young age. So labels that do not answer to you, they are not interested in you. Because if they had some sort of interest for you, or if they believed that you could be helpful to them in any way, by having a large YouTube channel or whatever, they would answer to you. Which brings me to scenario number 2. When the label answers, but rejects you politely. So why do they answer? Because they are polite, you might think. Maybe. But me, as a A&R, answer only when I see potentials. I answer only when I believe that this guy has a future and might produce something that I want or manage somehow to become successful in the music industry. I answer only when I see benefit. I answer when I believe that this guy will someday make it. And then I want to gain the credits for discovering him first and giving him the chance. So the label responded, but they are not interested in your music with one excuse or another. What you do? You network with their fans and their artists. You make research, you make inquiries, and you connect with its social circle. You follow their artists, you comment on their post, you message them directly, you try to get in touch with them, you try to make collaborations, you try to remix their songs. You follow their audience. Some of their audience will follow you back, and you start becoming one with the label that you want to release your music. In that way, the internet, the search engines, associate you with a label. The algorithms of the search engines and the social media feed shows you like you are associated with this label. When you connect with their audience and with their artists, you make it easier for the label to accept you. You make it easier for the label to release your track because now those artists are your collaborators. You work with them. Their fans are your fans. Their audience is your audience. So you are involved in either way. By networking in that way, you are not just encouraging a label to accept you, you are somehow enforcing it. So let me summarize it one more time for those skipped fast forward this video. When a label responds positively and they are interested, it's up to you to do whatever you want. When a label responds but rejects you politely, it means that they believe that you could have a future. So when this happens, you network with their audience and their artists. And the final scenario, if the label does not respond to you at all, you don't send more emails, you don't look for other labels that you could possibly send your music. No, you lock yourself in a room and try to improve your music and become a better producer. Because the third scenario means that your music is not marketable. You must have in mind that when you upload a track on SoundCloud and nobody is interested listening or downloading it, how will this piece of junk be merchantable? How will a label be able to sell something that nobody wants even for free? Labels are looking for established brands, and that is why you should create some sort of buzz around your name before sending a demo. Or they won't consider your music marketable, but they are willing to invest in you because they believe that you will produce something marketable in the future, or that you have some sort of future in the music business. Anyway, I hope I helped. That was today's video. And if you feel discouraged, it's okay. One day you will find the job that suits you best. If you don't feel discouraged, I will see you in the arena.